I want to read you a little poem I wrote years ago. It has a lot to do with judgment, in a way. You know how people do that thing, they judge. And it's just a little ditty I did, and then I'm just going to explain a little bit about myself and how I came to this point in my life. In a vision, we have a strong tendency in this world to judge by appearance, whether a person is black or white, jeans baggy or tight, can or can't fight to fit in means adherence. But when you look at the spirit, you no longer can hear it, the sound of our family or tribe. Through the eyes of the heart, we come together, not grow apart. And sometimes it's hard to describe. Ever since I first heard Stevie and wondered, how could he see so much? He is blind. But as I listened one night, I felt this is true sight, and I left my old ways far behind. You know, we often, we enter this world and we struggle. This struggle. I remember the first time that, I really became aware of this. I was around 12 years old, and I had just grown this beautiful afro, man. It was just right. I had got it shaped up, and I just was like, oh, finally something to make me feel good about myself. It was about 1967, and I was headed off to junior high school, Horton High School, and my mother really didn't care for this giant afro. She wanted it cut, and so it was an opportunity for her to get that done. So she sat me down with my two brothers and my sister present, and she asked my brother to get those clippers that he got in the room. Now my heart sank. I said, come on, Ma, now check this out. It's shaped up. I'll go back and get it cut. She said, do what I say, sit in that chair. And she cut, and she cut, and she cut. And as I seen all of the hair hit the floor, I felt my heart drop because I knew that I was in trouble. I was going to have to fight and go into this new school, my self-esteem. Now, I'm not putting any blame or anything. This is how we did it. I didn't do what I was asked to do, and that was it. That's supposed to teach you something. Anyway, it left me really ashamed because I didn't like the way I looked. So off to school I went, and the inevitable happened. Teacher asked me to remove my hat, and I said, not remove my hat for anybody. Because I had been with my brothers, and they were smacking upside my head and giving me the noogie. You remember the noogie? All weekend long, and I just couldn't take no more. I wasn't going to do it. So I got put out of school. I had to leave, and I had to think about it, and I said, well, I'm going to get a whooping anyway. And I went outside, and there was these two brothers. They had a couple of bottles of wine. I never drank wine before. I said, what y'all drinking? And they said, wine. You want some? I said, well, I don't drink wine. And they started laughing. And that laughter was just one laugh too many. Just one too many. And I said, give me that bottle. Choked it up, passed it around. They choked up. We had about 4 bottles of wine. I said, whoa, Jack. I said, hey. And the one thing I had been fighting all day long in school, I said, y'all want to see something funny? And I took my hat off, and I just commenced to laughing. Now, if I had a blackboard, think of all the feelings I felt when my mother cut the hair off my head. Anger, shame, embarrassed. When I drank that wine, just get the eraser. Just get it out. Because it was like, I erased it all. And I didn't feel anything. And without an education, I had learned that any mind-altering, mood-altering substance may be due to one thing I always wanted to do, which was not feel. I had a draft card. We were supposed to go into the Vietnam War. There was a lot of stress. You know, I come to junior high school, Spider-Man comic books in my pocket. And I saw these visions of me burning people and killing people. It just was tough. And they said, yo, your black little behind ain't going nowhere but to die. So I felt like I was going to die the whole time. And then I'm totally convinced that my immune system was reacting to the way I felt. So at 14 years old, I was just moving slow and sleepy. And then, my neighborhood, you don't have no such thing as the words. I never even heard of depression or anxiety. Never even heard of it. Anyway, my aunt took me to the doctor when I was down in Norfolk, Virginia. And a little country doctor looked at me. He said, boy, how old are you? I said, I'm 14. He said, what's a 14-year-old boy like you doing with the shingles? I said, nerve infection. What you worried about, boy? And I said, what? And then 2 years later, I was in Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx. Leaving. That's right. I had meningitis, spinal meningitis. It's an infection of your membranes of your brain. And it was taking me out. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move my right side. And I didn't know who the hell anybody was. Now, I had to fight. I'm reading this article in the news now of Bobby Brown's daughter, Whitney Houston's daughter. It's sad. But you got to be aware. We've got to be aware of what we're leaving for our children. And I remember struggling out of that coma for months. And for whatever reason, I decided I was going to make it. And I came out. It took me a couple of months. Reminds me of this picture. A guy in Yonkers, New York. His brother. Get the world around, you got a chain around the world, man. And he's strong. And he's pulling it. And he got it up. That's the way I've always felt. But it's interesting when you think about desire. Now, fast forward a little bit because I know this is taking a bit long for some people. But I thought about how I grew out of the hospital. First I must crawl, then walk, and then I can run before my life falls prey to the gun. I cannot be always in a hurry because sometimes speed can get you buried. And as I learned to slowly walk, I learned to do instead of talk. Like James Brown said, just talking loud and saying nothing. And saying nothing. You think about it. We've heard this stuff before. And I was thinking about how I started pulling out and recovering. Now I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Because I just really wanted to give you a chance to get to know me a little bit. And I'm going to pick it up from when I came to Massachusetts because I had wrote it down. And this basically is called My Life. But it takes it from around that point. And it explains in a short little ditty, what exactly happened when I got married, had children, and parted with my then wife. Let me get to it first. Hold up. Let me save some time here.